أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب.
Living the Quran through the Living Quran, an audio-visual translation of Tafseer an-Nur of Sheikh Mohsen Qiraati, translated by Salim Bimji and edited by Arif Huda. Audio version read out by the translator. In this 16-part series, we will be reviewing chapter number 50, Surah Qaaf. Part 11, verses 34 to 35. Enter in peace.
ادخلوها بسلام ذلك يوم الخلود لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد.
Verse 34. Now enter it in peace, secure from any troubles or distress. That is the day of immortality. Verse 35. Therein will be for them everything that they desire, and in our presence there is even more. Thinking points. In the previous verses, 4 traits of perfections that describe the people of God consciousness, that is of taqwa, were covered, which included: point 1, turning to Allah in repentance, awwab. Point number 2, protecting themselves and maintaining the limits which Allah Azza wa Jal has laid down, hafidh. Point number 3, recognizing the awe and majesty of Allah Azza wa Jal, khashya. And point number 4, having a humble and soft spiritual heart, qalb munib. In this section of verses under review, there are 4 other traits that are spoken about. Point 1, safety and security, salam. Point 2, perpetuity in paradise, khulud. Point 3, diversity of blessings, ma yasha'un. And point 4, expansion of blessings, ladayna mazid. Normally, the blessings of this world would have some negative aspect to them. However, the same cannot be said for that which awaits the believers in heaven. Point number 1 is that blessings in this world are accompanied by troubles and sufferings. However, in paradise there will be no grief or difficulties. Point 2 is that blessings in this world are temporary, but in paradise, the blessings are permanent. Point 3 is that blessings in this world are restricted. However, in heaven, a person will get whatever they want. And point number 4 is that blessings in this world are limited, but in heaven, there is no limit, and actually they will always be on the increase. Takeaway messages. 1. Having the awe and reverence of Allah Azza wa Jal in this world will be the reason for one to have safety and security in the hereafter. 2. The inmates of hell will be thrown into there with humiliation, as the Quran said in chapter 50 verse 24, throw them into hell. However, the people of paradise will be welcomed and protected, just as the Quran says in chapter 50, Surah Qaaf verse 34, now enter it in peace, secure from any troubles or distress. 3. Allah Azza wa Jal displays His anger, which is not an emotional outburst of God, but rather is an action of Allah Azza wa Jal, which is manifest through hell. Point 4. The inmates of hell are commanded not to say a word to Allah Azza wa Jal, as the Quran says, Allah will say, do not dispute with each other in my presence. I had warned you about this day before. However, both Allah Azza wa Jal and the angels will greet the people of paradise, as the Quran says, now enter it in peace, secure from any troubles or distress. That is the day of immortality. 5. One of the best promises that Allah Azza wa Jal has made in the Quran is the good news of immortality in paradise and the imperishability of its blessings there. 6. A person who passes up the uncontrollable following of their lower desires and regulates their life based on the teachings of the Quran will be granted the ability to enjoy all their desires in paradise. 7. Even in the case of the inmates of hell, Allah Azza wa Jal deals with them with His justice. As He says in verse number 35 of this chapter, "And never will I be unjust to my servants." On the other hand, in the case of the inhabitants of paradise, Allah Azza wa Jal says that He acts by His grace, as is seen in verse 35 of this chapter. "Therein will be for them everything that they desire, and in our presence there is even more." Point 8. The human being is a creation who incessantly demands things in this life. Thus, the only one who can satiate such a craving is the one true God, Allah Azza wa Jal, who is infinite. And point number 9, as we conclude, the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal that will be showered on the people in paradise will be much greater than their desires and expectations. Join us in our next session as we review verses 36 and 37 under the theme of a warning and reminder.